Well, hey, artist friends. Welcome back. Welcome back. Get my stool out of the way there. Welcome back to our portrait series videos that we're working on. So it's mouths today. And again, the reason we did this whole portrait series is one of the number one questions is just how do I make it look real? Okay, mouths can be tricky, right? There's a wide variety of complexities of shapes, etc. It also depends on whether someone's smiling, their teeth is showing. So, today we're going to cover the most kind of simplest with just lips closed, but okay, my model portrait also has some with teeth showing. Okay, so I'll make sure I do a separate little extra of that as well, just in case you have teeth showing. Okay, so let's first start out with the basic shapes of our lips. Whenever you're going to draw lips, I actually want you to, instead of starting with the overall shape, I actually want you to start with this center line. Okay, and let's just find a pair of lips to work off of your guide sheet, or if you don't have the printed guide sheets on your phone or with you, you weren't able to download them, etc., it's no big deal. Look at the person across from you, go to a mirror, right? Or even just work from one of your model portraits here, or you can just draw right along with me on the screen. Okay, drawing practice is drawing practice no matter what. All right, so what we're going to do is look at that center line of where top lip meets bottom lip. Okay, and we're going to create, I always think of it like the seagull wing. Okay, this kind of Cupid's bow lip where it meets in the middle. Okay, so we're just going to create that basic line. Now, underneath that, we're going to build the lower lip. And we're going to do that just by drawing in the bottom edge of it, but we're not going to connect it to the corners of the mouth. A lot of times students do this. They start with the overall shape. They get this part, and they get this part, and they do the line in the middle, and they're like, but wait, like, it doesn't look natural. And that's actually because unless someone's wearing like a really heavy lipstick, and we actually normally don't see the bottom lip, those values connect up at perfect points to the corners. We usually just see a shadow line underneath the bottom of the lip with a little bit of value. And that's part of why it looks a little odd when we have these big harsh outlines that come up to the corners. So we're going to leave that bottom lip unconnected, just that little shadow marker on the bottom. We'll do some shading, no worries, so that still looks like, the whole mouth is there. Okay, and then we're going to create the top edge of the lip, and this will connect up ever so slightly at the corners of the mouth. And it's thin, it becomes thicker at the top. Everybody has different lip shapes, so you could, of course, can follow along in the video with me, or, observe the person you're drawing. Their lips may be more rounded or less curved. They may have a very distinct Cupid's bow here with this little U, this little dip. They may have none. I don't know. Kind of depends. It may be like just a really round top lip. Okay. Now the rest of the lip is really done with shading. Okay. Your bottom lip projects out more, meaning it sticks out further and usually captures more light than your top lip. So in general, the bottom lip is usually going to be a bit lighter or capture more light. The top lip, which actually goes a little bit inward and back, will be catching less light and therefore have a darker value. So I'm actually going to start with our heavier shading in towards where the lips meet together. Okay, and we're going to do a little bit firmer pressure in where they meet. And then as they move out, we're still going to have value there, but it's going to lighten up a bit. And firmest, least light in where those lips meet. And then as they move further out, they're going to lighten up a bit more. And then I want you to grab your Q-tip, your paper stump, if you've rolled up a paper stump, your paper towel, your tissue, whatever your preferred blender is. I like the Q-tips. I want you to go ahead and give it a little blending. Remember, when we're blending, we're still drawing. We're not just smearing the pencil all around. You're directing that graphite. If you feel like you've overblended, touch up with your eraser. Remember, you can use your eraser as a blending tool as well. You can put no pressure on the eraser and just go back and lighten up gently and reblend. you got one of those chunk erasers, you can even use that as a blender yourself. Or as a blender itself, I should say. Okay, now no re-outlining your lips. Let the shading do the work. You're only going to flatten it if you then take your pencil and do a hard outline. So no outlining. Now with the bottom lip, we're going to leave a lot of light towards the center. And we're just going to have some shading with a lighter pressure on the bottom. So the top lip should stay distinctly darker. So I'm going to have some light pressure where the lips come together in the center and towards the bottom, coming up towards the center of the lip. But we're going to leave the center of this lip pretty light. Okay, and once again, grab your Q-tip. Do some blending. And voila, we've got some pretty realistic lips. Now, if you want to get fancy, you've got a little divot, most of us, in the top area of this lip. And then our skin kind of slopes down to the side, so we tend to have some very light shadows on the side. So with some very light pencil pressure, shade in that little teardrop shape, that little divot there, where the skin fold of our mouth comes up, that upper lip that goes underneath our nose, and then just a little bit to the side. Very light pressure though. I'm using like my absolute lightest pencil pressure. I'm putting as little pencil down as possible. I'm going to use my tissue for this one. Give that a little bit of a smudge. It's very, very light. And we can add in that part of our upper lip. Beautiful. Okay, let's talk a little bit about smiley lips. Smiley lips. So particularly if you're working with a magazine picture and you don't have someone sitting in front of you, or you don't have just like your own mirror that you're looking at or whatnot, a lot of our model pictures may have smiles, big smiles even. Okay. And so that can still work out too. We're going to use kind of the same principles. The difference is we have to deal with teeth on this one. So I'm going to do a quick smile with teeth demo. Okay. And then we'll go and do some more practice time with just basic lips. Okay. So actually, you know what'll work best is I'm going to keep my photograph off to the side here. Oh, pardon me again. And I'll pull the picture in as needed as we draw. Okay. So first thing I'm going to start with is, once again, this center line, this top, kind of where the lips would normally meet. I'm going to start with that basic shape there. Now the difference is I'm going to have a big space in the middle where the teeth are. Okay, so now I'm going to draw in still where the bottom lip is. Now she's got really strong lipstick on, but you'll still notice the bottom lip doesn't actually meet at the corner of her mouth, okay? So I'm going to still draw in the bottom shape of that lip, and then I'm going to build in towards the center. It's not perfectly round, kind of comes down and in and up, but I'm not going to connect them. I'm not going to connect the two. Okay, let's draw in. Actually, it's a little, I might be making that a little too exaggerated. I think that might be just a little bit shallower. I think it might be more like so. See, even your art teachers, sometimes I think I erase more than I actually draw. Erasing is an important part of the drawing process. It's how we refine our observed lines that we've drawn. Do not be afraid of that eraser. Rarely do we get it perfect the first go. And if you do, teach me your secrets. I want to know. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw in the top shape of this lip, and then we're going to figure out where the teeth are showing behind the bottom lip. Okay, so top part of this lip. And because she's smiling really big smile, her top lip kind of like thins out, and that Cupid bow is a little bit more shallow. Right, because her lip is tight and pulled back because she's smiling. Okay. And now we're just going to block in where we see the teeth. So I can see the teeth actually don't start right at the corner of the mouth. They kind of go a little ways in. Can see them kind of stopping there. And then the teeth themselves kind of come in and go back here in space, like so. And so this is the shape where the teeth are going to be occupied, or where the teeth are taking up space or occupying space in the mouth, okay? And check that out. That bottom edge where the teeth are going to be help define where the top of the bottom of the lip ends. Okay, so now she's got a really big toothy grin. So almost directly in the center, I can see a separation of teeth. And all the teeth aren't exactly the same shape. Some of the teeth are smaller and kind of tilt away from the smile line. Some of them get really small as they go to the back here. And then I basically almost stop seeing teeth as it goes into the back here. And that's really what I see of those teeth. They're not all perfectly the same shape. They get smaller as they move further away. I stop seeing less and less defined teeth. In the front, certainly. She has gorgeous teeth. I certainly see those. But as they move further away, we don't see the exact same shape. They get a little bit narrower. And we actually slowly start to see kind of like less and less of them until they fully just disappear into and behind her, the rest of her mouth. Okay. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to start doing some shading. And once again, I'm going to start with my upper lip, work the lower lip, and then I'll work some shading in and around the teeth. Now at this point, if your picture doesn't have teeth with it, you're more than welcome to draw along with what I'm doing here. But if you want to, at this point, pause the video and go back and do some more practice drawing work, or look at your own model in front of you, okay, whomever happens to be sitting for you for drawing, or if you you want to work off of your own photograph that doesn't have smiley teeth, feel free to stop this video at this point and go ahead and do some of your practice. Okay, I notice it gets a little bit darker towards the corner of the mouth. Gets really dark in here where it kind of like disappears inside the mouth and we stop seeing teeth and things and such. There we go. And then her lower lip is distinctly lighter, so I'm using a much lighter pencil pressure. That bottom lip is catching a lot of light. It is a little bit, heavier in value or darker in value towards the bottom edge, but not a lot. Not a lot. Okay. Ooh, I got a little funky there on that shape. Okay, I'm going to take my Q-tip again. Do a little shading, a little blending. Okay, terrific. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to now look at the teeth. And the teeth themselves, we've got some darker values in between the teeth where we see her gums and the shadow of that the lip is kind of casting over the teeth themselves. We've got some darker value there. Oh, hi, kitty. Katie's saying hi again. That one's Dot. Okay. And then now on the back, where my teeth aren't just pure white, right? I've got some shadows on them. I'm going to put those shadows back there. And then too, there are even little shadows on the teeth and in between the teeth themselves. But avoid hard lines on the teeth. Try to do it with just little bits of shadow, and that's going to make the teeth look much more natural. And I'm actually probably not going to do a lot of blending on the teeth. I'm just going to kind of leave just a light bit of shading that I see there. There we go. And there's some beautiful, beautiful teeth in that smile. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video here. I'm going to practice one more mouth. Okay, do another maybe like 10 minutes of practice drawing, right? Try to get into like a 20 to 30 minute practice drawing rhythm here. Okay, and then I'll join you again at the end of the video to take a look at what we've accomplished. And we're back. Okay, so here we are. I've done probably another like good 10 minutes of practice in addition to the about 20 minutes I spent on these two mouths here. So, you know, we're talking about, again, 30 minutes total or so. I want you to try working on some mouths, okay? And I think this is a good moment, too, for us to just recap for a second. Look at the amount of excellent drawing practice. Not only have we done, you know, our initial portrait, whoop, but we've also practiced proportions. We've practiced eyes. We've practiced noses, okay? And we've practiced mouths. So we've had a lot of really good drawing skill we've built into it. And I bet you're gonna surprise yourself when we get to actually drawing our portrait again to see how much we've improved. Okay, so please join me in the next video where we're gonna work a little bit of ears. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, hey, my portrait doesn't have ears. That is true. In this one, her hair is covering the ears. But you may have a portrait like, oh, hang on a second, let me grab mine. You know, like this one where there's a little bit of ear showing, or, you know, at some point you may do a profile portrait where you actually do see quite a bit of ear. Okay, so we're gonna talk a little bit about different ways you may see ears and do some good shading practice. All right, thanks. Join me in the next video. Looking forward to it. Take care. Bye-bye.